what I've done for this project for experimentation is I've stapled some Arches watercolor paper onto a piece of gator board. You can see I've used both sides and the staples are kind of coming through here and it's warped. Kind of warped when I did that. I've had this for a long time. Maybe that's one reason. Anyway, I just decided that I would go ahead and, since it's experimentation, go for it with this. I plan to use some tissue paper that I had. I'm going to put the Elmer's glue with some water. I'm going to glue it on to the paper, and I want to start by adding some water to my glue. I put some glue in here in this little container, and I'm using a pipette to add some water. I want it to stick, but I don't want it to be real blobby. And for a brush, I'm going to use a synthetic brush to put it on, and remember to wash it out too right away. So let's see now, wait a second. First I put it on the paper, right? And then I put the tissue on top of it. I think that's the way it worked. So this is, oh, it's already starting to set up already. Maybe that's what happens when you have really old glue. Let me add more water. Probably should have got a house painting brush or something. And my plan for today is to do a painting of this old gnarly tree. It's very organic, so it won't matter if it's not perfect. It's just sort of, for fun, I'm doing this. All right, so I'll go ahead and start painting it on. Does it say I'm recording it? I thought I clicked on it, but
Yes.
Yes, because it showed got it for us, so we click on got it.
no, okay. Looks like it's coming out a little thicker in some places, but I don't think that'll matter too much since I'm painting on a wrinkled surface anyway. I hope I'll be able to take the tape off. I'm going to do this really fast because I want to make sure that it doesn't dry before I get it on there.
That's why I like starch better.
Like, why you like what?
Starch.
Oh, yeah, I can see why.
You can dilute the Elmer's down to rather liquidy if you choose.
Wait, say that again, Renee.
You can dilute Elmer's glue to rather thick, liquidy, because I had it in an old Elmer's glue container, and I had it so liquidy I could just shake it
Okay,
when I used it.
yeah.
But I mean, it's a personal preference as to how liquidy you want your Elmer's glue to be, or your stay slow starch.
Oh, I think I think I tore it. You have to be careful. It's not like saran wrap.
But tearing is also create texture.
Oh, okay.
I don't really think anybody's gonna notice when they look at your painting that you accidentally tore the paper.
Okay,
And also you can pre-cut it before and to create the
the shape,
wood trunk, the tree trunk, if you will pre-cut it,
yeah,
you can create the wood tree trunk first, the shape of tree trunk, and give it a special directions,
yeah.
and then put leaves separately in a different pattern.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna start with some yellow ochre. And I'm just going to start to add the yellow ochre in the direction of the tree. And then I'll get a little bit of cobalt blue. And I'm getting some burnt sienna. I'm switching to French ultramarine because it's a darker blue, and adding some burnt sienna to it for some of these areas that are dark. Looks like some kind of a dragon or something.
Looks great.
Really neat to see what happens with all the textures. Now, in the lower part, I'm putting in some cad orange, but also some opera, because I want to have a little bit more of a glow of color. Oh, got the basic shape locked in. And now I wanted to try to put in some foliage too. So I'm starting with Hooker's green, and I'm going to add some burnt sienna to it for this top part. Looking for dark areas. Now, a lighter green. Start with yellow and then I'll add on top of it. This is aureolin yellow. I kind of feel like the pouring thing with the pipette would work on this too. That might be kind of a neat thing, dropping color on.
That would be fun to try.
Yeah. Have to mix up a bigger
Ron
batch.
Renner Mario. WhatsApp audio.
Okay. I'm switching to a smaller brush now. I want to do some negative space painting so that I get the shape of the tree more well-defined. So I'm going to some Perylene green. I wonder what would happen if I sprayed a little bit one couple places where I want it to be thin. Let me get my spray bottle. I need to get an atomizer that has a finer spray. This is cerulean blue. Or no, it's not cerulean, it's manganese actually. What the effect of some sky peeking through in places. Okay, let's see. I want to get more concentrated color. I'm doing it, putting in some branches that I see up here now. And I'm adding a little bit of dioxazine purple because I want to get some good dark darks. That seems to be one of the better dark combinations. That and burnt sienna and a little bit of French ultramarine blue. Okay, so I want to put in pine needles. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work because there's so much texture. I might need to dry it a little bit more. I think I do actually. Okay, I need to define some of the shapes on the bottom here a little bit more too. Okay. I'm gonna try to indicate more branches.
Sylvia,
Yeah.
in Chinese art, most trees are compared with dragons.
Oh, really? They do look like that.
Especially if they're twisted and gnarly.
Yeah. That's neat. It's starting to feel like a tree to me.
It is.
It is it looks like the paper is not absorbing the paint the way watercolor paper does.
All right.
Yeah,
Because of the glue.
yeah, it looks like it's kind of sitting on top.
That's right.
It's just magical to watch you draw it out of the chaos of the crumpled paper. Watch
It's
the image
really-
emerge.
I'm fighting the urge to use some pen and ink on it. You know, I'm not a pen and ink person at all. But there's a part of me that thinks, oh, well, maybe that would be enhance it a little bit.
But you can use ink on the brush, not necessarily pen.
Yeah.
Follow your instincts.
That's the best thing to do, isn't it? I'm looking at the values now and trying to get some more massive shapes, darker. The part that's really confusing is right in here, and that's because that's where the loop of the branches are. I might have to come back in and do a little bit of negative space painting with gouache or something to define the shape a little bit better.
I wonder if gouache might actually stick a little better because it's thicker.
Yeah. Maybe. I have to stand up and get back from it for a minute. Okay, I'm gonna try a little gouache right now. So now I want to establish some lighter lines to kind of help with the flow or the way the branches go swirling around. I want I'm going on my sideways on my brush so that the tops of the tissue will actually become lighter in places.
Sylvia, what about some splatter? Do you dare?
Oh yeah, I've been thinking about that. Corinne. I think I'll mix some gouache with some green.
I was gonna say white splatter, but I think a dark, actually, some black splatter.
I might do,
Uh,
but I'm doing some white right now.
yeah, you're doing white first, right?
It's got a little bit of green in it.
Uh-huh. And it's got gouache. You have gouache?
Yes.
Yeah, so good.
Now I want to come in and do some burnt sienna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I was thinking, something quite dark, yeah.
Mhm. And then let's see. Yeah, maybe this dark kind of perylene green also.
Mm. The mid-trunk, the swirl,
This,
yeah, right there. It could use some accent.
yes,
Bring our eye, almost like a knot in a tree, because I can see that shape.
yeah, it has to have a little more definition somehow.
Yeah. From a distance, it's quite effective. It's got a really nice look, nice shape.
It'll be interesting to see how it looks when I take the tape off. Okay, now I've got to really resolve that, what you're talking about, the trunk.
Right, yeah, right there, yeah. Accent the curve and bring in, oh, where's the mat? Where is the model? Your photograph?
I have it on my computer. I can't share it with
Oh,
you.
yeah. Oh, no, I can. All right, I'll look at it my own print. Just trying to think.
I think it's this area right in here that gets really confusing.
Mhm.
So there's this part that comes up, okay. Oh, maybe that's too far up. Yeah, I think it,
Yeah, I was thinking low there.
Yeah.
That area right there
yeah,
can show the twist. Remember, it's like fabric. It's almost like someone said like a dress on the tree.
it's kind of mixing with my gouache though. That's the problem because it's,
Mm.
Well, I think it was the bottom of the tree that kind of looked like a dress.
Oh, well then here
But
is
it's
it.
okay. I mean, it definitely has this tree look to it.
Yeah. Well, that's like a knot or a cummerbund or
yeah.
something.
Well, should I try some ink?
Why not?
Yeah, because I think I need something darker.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find my pen. Just had them out, so they've got to be here somewhere.
May I
Let's
ask,
include this ink too, even if it is waterproof.
oh, may I ask students who've tried this using other things to stick the tissue down, do you get different results with different kinds of stickum, like Mod Podge versus white glue versus starch? Does that make a difference?
Actually, Georgia, the first time I did it, I cut really, really, really tiny pieces of rice paper and glued them on with the Elmer's glue and layered them
Right.
and waited for it to dry and painted over it. And
Okay.
then the Mod Podge I painted on the watercolor paper,
Okay.
then added tissue paper with Mod Podge, then painted on top of the tissue paper with Mod Podge after it dried.
And did those two different techniques, did they look a lot different? Did the results look a lot different?
I had more wrinkles in the rice paper with the Mod Podge than I did with the Elmer's glue, actually. But
Okay.
I think that's more because I had cut, little tiny slivers of rice paper to make the feathers,
Okay.
is how it is, because the feathers didn't wrinkle up as much as when I applied the tissue paper. And I tore the tissue paper. I didn't cut it. I tore it into places that I wanted after I had watercolored.
Well, that's the kind of thing I was wondering. I was wondering how, how those techniques might be different. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I also tried to paint first on the watercolor paper and to put the wrinkle rice paper on the top of it.
Oh,
And how did that turn out?
Oh, it's very transparent.
it's too wet for me to do this right now. It's not. Like when I try to use a pen, what it's doing is it's tearing the rice paper. I mean, the tissue paper.
Right. Not,
I'm gonna use
I
it.
guess that's when tracing paper may have held
Yeah.
up better.
Well, I think that tissue paper is not as forgiving as rice paper. However, it's easier to get your hands on tissue paper, and rice paper is kind of expensive.
I went looking once on the, places, relatively inexpensive websites, and they seem to have something that is a form of rice paper that is designed for students that are just practicing. So that's, that's, and it looked like it was kind of yellowish and so on. I mean, I think clearly it's not a fabulous high-end product, but it was quite reasonable.
I'm going to stop this because it's I can't do that much more to it right now, but I think we see certain things that I probably could have done differently, like especially this area in here, like if I had taken that and made the tissue paper go in the direction of the swirl, like maybe cut pieces, like you said, have separate pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Put it over. I mean, maybe I still could, take a piece and glue it on.
Oh yeah, you can easily
Mhm.
add to it, Sylvia, when you come up with little ideas like that, little places where you would like to have a little more texture, you could easily do that.
Yeah, so that would probably be good. I want to paint a little bit more of an indication of pine needles in here